I've been playing guitar and rocking out on the couch for more than 40 years, and today I'm going to show you how to play Van Halen's Little Dreamer.
A little dreamer.
Good morning, and thanks for coming by to hang out with me here on the couch. Boy, do we have a good one for you today. By request, we've got Van Halen's Little Dreamer, a deep cut from their debut album released in 1978. My very first memory of Van Halen being on the radio was from the singles Dance the Night Away and Beautiful Girls from their second album released in 1979. I purchased that album and soon after followed it up with the purchase of Van Halen 1 because Eddie's guitar playing was unlike anything I'd ever heard. It goes without saying that no one before him had played the way that he did, and his skills and abilities have left an indelible mark on rock guitar. Stay with me till the end. We'll talk more about the man, the band, and other important issues. For now, let's jump right in and learn that bluesy intro riff. The song's intro riff starts out on the E string at the 8th fret. 2 hits there. And then we go 6 to 8 on the A string. And then we're going to play the D and the G together at the 8th fret. And then back to the 8 on the E twice. Now when you play the D and the G together there, it doesn't matter if you also hit the B string. That will not hurt. I have seen some of the guys who teach it to pick that up, which I think that works too, if that works good for you. The key is, after it's over, you have 2 hits here again on the 8th fret of the E, and after you hit it the second time, you want to slide down to the 3rd fret. Because we're going to start the next riff there. And it's identical to this part, it's just here on the 3rd fret in the G. So it's 2 hits on the 3rd fret of the E, and then 1st fret, 3rd fret on the A, and then we're going to play the D and the G, and if you want to, the B at the 3rd fret, and then 2 times on the E again at 3. So far we have. At the end of every time after you've done the 2 at the 8th or the 3rd fret, hit it one more time to slide up to the next one. And in the intro section, he actually goes through that entire thing 4 times. He'll do it here at the 8th fret, then do it at the 3rd fret, that's once. Do it again, that's twice, and goes through the whole thing 4 times. And then next we're going to start the verse section. again at the 8th fret, and what I'm doing with my ring finger is I'm covering the D and the G string, and the B string too is fine. The only thing I don't really want to play at all is that A string. So I'm using my middle finger to cover the 8th fret on the E string, and that's kind of my root note. That's my bass note. That's what I'm going to be chugging on. And then as soon as I do that, I slide down here to 3. The next one is a B flat chord right here. So I'm barring 5 through 1 with my index finger on the 1st fret. I'm barring 4 through 1 with my ring finger on the 3rd fret. I'm chugging on this string right here, the 1st fret of the A. And then when I play it, I'm really only playing strings 5, 4, and if I hit 3, that's okay. And then I just move the whole position down 1 string to be a power chord here on the F, basically. So that's index finger on the 1st fret of the E string, and then I'm barring the 3rd fret of the A, of everything else really, but I'm only playing the A and the D, and if I hit the G, that's okay. So that whole thing. So I go through that complete cycle 2 times, and then it goes into the chorus, which is very similar to the opening riff, and we'll look at it next. Our chorus riff starts out almost identical to our intro riff. As a matter of fact, the first 2 parts are the same. So to that point, everything is identical. We're going to change it up just a little bit now. So that starts out with 1 hit, actually 2 hits on the 1st fret of the E string. Then we go 1 on the 4th fret of the E string. And then we go 1 on the A. And we're going to play the D and G together at the 1. And then at this part in the chorus, after those 3 little pieces, the first 2 that we already knew and the one we just learned, then we have a different fill every time this part of the chorus comes around. The first one goes something like this. Now, if you have a tremolo arm, a whammy bar, a Floyd Rose, whatever the case may be, after that first bend up, it's a bend up on the 5th fret of the G string. I've got my ring finger or my index finger down here on the 4th fret to catch it when I pull off. But I bend it up. When Eddie comes back down, he's going to use the tremolo arm and dip it real quick to go a little bit farther. I can't do that. I'm trying to real sharply pull off to that 4 and then go back to 5 and do it again. Does it 3 times, and then we go to the 5th fret of the D. Then we're going to go 4, 3, 2, 1 on the A. We play them real quick, and I use that pinch harmonics. I let the string roll off the edge of the pick and bounces on my thumb there. Gets that squealing sound when I bend up and also when I walk down. So that's the first of the fills. Then we go back to the riff. And we have our second fill. So that is natural harmonics as opposed to artificial harmonics. I'm starting out at the 12th fret, barely laying my finger right over the top of the fret. And I'll play the D and then the G. I've got kind of that ringing bell sound. And then I go down here to the 7th fret and I do the same thing, D and then the G. Now I'm going to play 7 on G again, then I'm going to go to 5 of G. I don't have the tremolo arm, but I can reach up here behind the nut and give the G string a little wiggle while it's ringing. That kind of simulates that a little bit too. Then we go back into our second verse. Our second verse is going to sound like this. So it started out the same. The first half of it was identical to the first verse. But instead of repeating itself like the first verse does, it goes on to different chords. So we've got the 8th fret of here again, just like we did before. 3rd fret again here, just like we did before. We go to the B flat like we did before, the F like we did before. But now, instead of going back to the 8th fret, we're going to go to this chord, which is a G sharp, really. G sharp power chord. So my index finger is on the 4th fret of the E. Ring finger has the A and the D covered at the 6th fret. And I go here to a D sharp. So index finger is on the 6th fret of the A string. My ring finger is covering the D and the G at 8. I just go up a string, so that exact position. So my index finger at 6 of the E, ring finger at 8 of the A and D. Then there's a little pause, a little slide down, and it ends on the open D and G strings. Then we go back into that riff, the chorus riff. So all that's the same, and now we go into the first fill of the second chorus. So the 3rd fill that we've done total, it sounds something like this. So that's a slide up from maybe 2 or 3, slide up to 7 on the G string. And then we bar the B and the E at 6, and I'm going to go B, E, B. And then I'm going to go 8 on the B. Then I go back here, and it's going to be B, E, B again at 6. But this time, instead of going to 8 on the B, I'm going to go to 8 on the G, and I'm going to double bend it real quick. I want to do that fast to kind of try to emulate the whammy bar that he uses there. And then back to our riff again. Now we have our 4th fill, or our second fill of the second chorus, which is going to lead us into the solo, and it goes like this. So that's a slide up from 3 to 5 on the A. Then we play 3 of the A. Then we jump a string, we go up from 5 to 7 on the D. And then we play 5 on the D. Now we go to the G string, we go from 7 to 9. We play 7 on the G. Now we have a hammer on and pull off from 7 to 9 on the G. Slide down to 5. Slide down to 4. And then when we get there, we're going to bend 4 up, double bend it, but save a little space in there. And you want to go all the way up a full step. Again, trying to emulate as much as we can the tremolo. So again, that whole section. Immediately following that second fill, we have our solo, which starts with this lick. That is a double bend on the B string at 11. Then we have this. That is the 8th fret, E and then the B. And then we have 11 on the B, back to 8 on the B. And then we go to 11 on the G, back to 8 on the B. And once we get there, we're going to do this. Do that 3 times pretty fast, and you can practice that to pick up your speed, but it's 8 on the B, 11 pulling off to 8 on the B, 11 on the G, back to 8 on the B. And then the last time you do it, you want to try to hit both the B and the E strings at the 8th fret. Then we're going to walk down from the 11th all the way to the 7th fret. Use a little bit of pinch harmonics and slow down as we go down. Then we have a like a half step bend up on 7, pulling off to 5 with a little vibrato. He has like a dive bomb on the whammy bar there. I think he goes way down. I can't do that on this guitar, so to emulate, if you'd like to, you can slide down the neck slowly. Then we have this lick. So that's a slide up on the G string all the way from somewhere down here up to 12. 11 on the B, and then a triple bend on 13 on the B. And then 8 on the B again, and then a single bend up at 11 on the B. And then we have this. That is, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways to play this, but that is 8 on the E string, 9 on the E string, 11 on the E, back to 9 and then 8 again. And then I'm going to start doing this. So that was similar to what we did earlier, but I'm pulling off from 11 to 10 to 8 on the E, and then 11 on the B, and then back to 8 on the E. And then once I get back to that note, I'm going to go down a string, do the same thing one time. So that's pulling off from 11 to 10 to 8 on the B string. And then I'm going to go to the G string at 10, pull off to 8, and slide down to 7. And that's kind of the end of that lick. So, the thing that I could show you to do it differently is this. When we start that, I'm pulling off from 11 to 10 to 8 on the E. You could also pull off from 11 to 9 to 8. And I think that might actually be the way that he does it. It's just easier for my hands to do it with my ring finger instead of my middle finger here. It just doesn't feel as natural. But if you compare the two, not a whole lot of difference there. I don't think anybody's really going to notice a whole lot of difference. So following that, we have this. Just like we did earlier, slide up 12 on the G, 11 to a big bend on 13 of the B. Then we go slide up from down here somewhere all the way up to 17 on the B. 17 on the G, 16 on the B, and then 18 on the B. We're going to bend it up, but we're going to go back and forth and play it a few times. So I'm bending it up, pulling it back down, playing it unbent. Bending it, playing it, unbending it, playing it. You're just going back and forth. Whatever that is, I think 6 times is what it is on the record. So here, I'll try to go through the whole thing a little slower than normal. After the solo, we go into a full verse, just like the verse that we learned before the solo. Then we have a chorus, but the chorus is slightly extended. In the past, we've done the 3 licks or the 3 little riffs and then a fill 2 times, then gone on to something else. This being the last chorus of the song, we're going to do it 3 times and then a fill, not twice, but 3 times. So there's 3 fills for us to learn right here. The first one is this. That is playing the 3rd fret of the G string. I'm going to let it ring for a second, then I'm going to hammer on and pull off from 5 to 3. I'm going to slide down to 2. As soon as I get to 2, I'm going to play 3 again, pulling off to 2. Then I'm going to play 5 on the D string, back to 2 on the G. Then I'm going to go 5, 3, 2 on the D. And then 5 on the A, back to 2 on the D. And I'm going to go 5, 3, 2 on the A. Open 3, 5 on the A. And that's how it ends. Then we have the 3 licks again, and then the next fill is this. That is the 3rd fret of the E string. I'm going to play it, hammer on to 4, pull off back to 3. Then I'm going to go to 6 on the B, back to 3 on the E. And then I'm going to go 6, 4, 3 on the B. 5 on the G. 3 on the B. And then a double bend at 5 of the G. The final fill is just a quick slide up to 17 on the G string, and then 16 and 18 on the B. When we get to 18 on the B, as he bends it up, he works the whammy bar really hard, so it's kind of an odd sound there. I don't have that benefit, so I'm just going to do this. I'll end it just like that. Then it goes back into the chorus. And that's the final note. So it does that first lick completely, gets to the D and the G on the 3rd fret of the 2nd lick, and it ends, and then it goes out with the David Lee Roth vocals. Eddie Van Halen has been hugely influential to rock guitar, and none of us would play exactly as we do now had it not been for his contributions. From his 2-handed tapping technique to his use of natural and artificial harmonics, Eddie influenced generations of guitar players to come and sold millions of albums. Van Halen 1 has sold over 10 million copies alone, the first of many multi-platinum studio albums released by the band. Eddie passed into eternity in 2020, and the guitar world has been grieving his loss ever since. No matter how much we achieve on this earth, we are all merely humans, and we all come to that point in due time. The passing of someone so loved and highly regarded should cause us to contemplate our own end. God's word says that it is appointed unto man once to die and then the judgment. His word also says that the only way to spend eternity in his presence then is through a relationship with his Son now. It's about knowing him and having a personal relationship with him. It's about following him and allowing him to lead you to eternal life. If you've not done so yet, I'd encourage you to pick Jesus. That is the most important thing I can teach you. If you like what I'm doing here, please give me a thumbs up below and subscribe. There are also affiliate links below in the description if you'd like to own any of the gear that I use in these videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you back again soon, right here on the couch.